Hello, everyone. My name is Claudia from Portugal, and I'm here to present our masterclass of ESG, Environmental, Social, and Governance, Open New Perspectives. I'm head of legal on a public company of waste management and public cleaning, and I'm passionate about compliance and ethics. So, ready to talk about the future? Let's talk because it started yesterday. Marco, This is our agenda: masterclass goals, hot topics, ESG framework, benefits of ESG investing, challenges, strategic vision, case study, and conclusions. Well, in recent years, ESG criteria have increasingly become a key issue for organizations around the world, with legal advisors being frequently called out to draft, implement, and improve ESG programs. The proposal is to present from a legal standpoint the development of the concept. We need to drive the positive change needed for the ongoing integration of sustainability and inspire and encourage teams to prepare themselves for new challenges to the future of regulation. So, do we need legislation for a better world? At the beginning of 2023, with the entry into force of the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, CSRD, the rules relating to social and environmental information that companies have to communicate were modernized and reinforced. The big companies will show the way because they are obliged to do so, and the business mass will have to go little by little, taking up these teams, above all tracking the path in G governance, because without G, there is no E and there is no S. Hot topics. In my view, first question: what is the current stage in your companies in the matter of ESG practice and procedures? So this will allow you to fix the baseline and track the evolution to pursue the goals. Therefore, you will be able to attract, retain more talented, and support your business on a sustainability way. We need commitment to ethics, moving from talk to action. Companies don't need promises, they need to jump into the pool. We need to create the moment. Promises do need to have a clear plan and communication. So how to improve and move from the linear economy to the circular economy. How will the organization have resilience? How to adapt to changes? We need to deliver it. How to protect your business. Renowned companies have recently faced serious allegations of ESG violations in the media. Regardless of whether the allegations prove to be true, reputational damage has often already occurred with the publication. And how can companies protect themselves from such accusations preemptively and reactively? We must believe that integrity and radical transparency create the most important corporate capital, that is trust. Sustainability in the long term not only is the only option, but is also a good business. Get ready for further ways to follow up the evolutions, to get insights. Regulations can be a major drive to construct a base. But is this opportunity or a risk? Even being paid by the company, the legal professional has to make the stakeholders and leaders to understand that there are limits that cannot be exceeded. In this sense, the organization cannot be above the law, and there is now legislation that protects even opening internal and external reporting channels. We need to explore how the crisis environment is inflecting the sense of corporate responsibility and how companies take advantage of this moment to evolve and not stagnate. At the end of the day, integrity, transparency, ethics are key words that must be present in the new mindset. It's better on getting right than doing wrong, ESG factors can be non-financial factors that can affect a company's long-term performance, such as its environmental impacts, treatment of employees, and corporate governance practices. So, ESG strategy is based on what? Legislating. In the first phase, legislating what companies have to report. In a second phase, on what companies have to do. The ESG framework helps companies to set goals, strategies, and identify risks pertaining to their environmental, social, and governance practices. Environmental criteria assess the company impact on the natural environment. Social criteria examine a company's impact on society, such as labor practices, human rights, and community engagement. After all, a solid company is defined by more than just its financial performance, its environmental practices, commitment to social responsibility, and ethical governance policies are equally important. Well, in August, the European Commission approved a list of new environmental and social standards. As for the environmental, the list has some variables, namely climate, pollution, water and marine resources, biodiversity and ecosystems, and also use of resources and circular economy. Benefits. Talking about benefits on ESG investing. Well, investors believe that ESG factors can be important drivers of long-term financial performance. For example, 1. Companies that are committed to environmental sustainability may be better positioned to manage risks associated with climate change and resources of scarcity. 2. Companies with strong social practices may be more attractive to employees and customers, leading to higher sales and profits. Companies with good governance practice may be less likely to be involved in any scandal or costly problems. Can be a way to align your investments with your values and to help support companies that are working to make the world a better place. There are a variety of ways to implement ESG investing. Some investors choose to screen out companies that do not meet their standards, while others focus on investing in companies that are leaders in ESG performance. 4. Diplomacy. Navigating diverse stakeholders' interests opens up a world of possibilities, ensuring everyone feels heard and being solutions-driven. 5. Empathy and authenticity. Isn't it all about truly grasping someone's viewpoint and being genuine with your approach? That's where collaboration comes alive. 6. Building trust. Isn't it all about with genuine connections? Regular check-ins with internal stakeholders allow for an open dialogue about sustainable objectives. So, challenges. ESG factors can be difficult to measure. There is no guarantee that ESG-focused companies will outperform the market. 3. Investing can be more expensive than traditional investing. Overall, investing is a growing trend that offers several potential benefits. However, it is important to do your research and understand the risks involved before you invest. Talking about the benefits. One, companies that are committed to environmental sustainability may be better positioned to manage risks associated with climate change and resources scarcity. For instance, cocoa. There may no longer be cocoa weather conditions that allow production. Can you imagine? 2, companies with strong social practices may be more attractive to employees and customers, leading to higher sales and profits. Companies with good governance practice may be less likely to be involved in any corporate governance issues like scandals or other costly problems. There are a variety of ways to implement ESG investing. I think we just been there. Well, the 2030 Global Agenda aims to connect the efforts of several players, not only countries and international organizations. It is worth emphasizing that this is a reality for all companies, whether they are transnational, multinational, or publicized trade corporations, large or medium-sized limited companies, and small and micro enterprises. In summary, regardless of their size and corporate form, companies that are part of supply chain and receive or seek investments should consider the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and ESG standards. The main ESG concepts and tools must be mastered by lawyers so that they can help companies conduct their business. Contracts executed with suppliers, third parties and service providers, anti-corruption clauses, integrity programs, compliance, and labor compliance are examples of legal instruments incorporating ESG concepts and tools. ESG indicators, the established goals and plans and results needs to be measured, managed, and evaluated with respect to the employees. The companies have committed to offering formal and independent channels for sexual harassment, racism, homophobia, transphobia, and other forms of prejudice involving their own employees and third parties. Talking about strategic vision, can you see what's next? Not what just now. Look beyond the horizon. That's the game changer, you know. Several policies, strategies, and initiatives have been implemented to support the ambitions of the European Green Deal so that Europe becomes the first climate neutral continent by 2050. Initiatives such as taxonomy for sustainable activities, the new Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive and Corporate Due Diligence Directive show that sustainability is literally on Europe's agenda. Thus, it is essential to design packaging with this entry life cycle in mind, as well to increase recycling rates while ensuring high quality of the standards to promote the integration of secondary materials, to reserve disposal in landfills, and to foster the recovery of residual waste by means of sustainability solutions. Now, corruption risk and related offenses prevention plan. Organizations need to implement a corruption risk and related offenses prevention plan. We should promote meetings with the organization units to assess the level of implementation of the measures identified in the plan. So I can highlight, for example, internal staff training, ethics management, organizational integrity, prevention of fraud and corruption, compliance, reporting channels, and whistleblower protection. Just some examples. So I need to highlight companies need to be part of the advanced group of organizations that day by day, step by step, debate by debate are reaching the zero landfill goal, which is something to be proud of. The world change when we decide to change, as we usually say we share value. It needs to be a project for continuous overcoming where there is no stagnation. We have here an example of a company with a core business of waste collecting and public cleaning, investing in science, technology, and innovation to respond both to the European Union waste policy guidelines, main focus on circular economy's practice, and to the calls made by the UN Secretary General, Engineer Antonio Guterres, to states and regions around the world to stop the environmental degradations of the planet. Treating and using waste as a strategic resource to ensure good quality of life population and maintain the social, economic, and environmental competitiveness. Controlling gas emissions from trucks, using new technology to optimize routes and with the aim of reducing consuming. Thus, we manage to increase in services without increasing resources. We must make conscious use of resources and ensure that we have a sustainable stance, not only in the choice of materials, but also in the way we treat our wastes. Policies must include no use of plastics and other disposable materials in the pantries, significant reduction in printed promotional materials, preferential use of recycling paper. Effective waste management can have a profound effect from an economic point of view, and it only makes a massive difference in reducing the impacts on our biodiversity and ecosystems, but when done correctly, can have a critical impact on the long-term sustainability of wildlife, our oceans, as well as our economic resilience. Today, more than ever, the effective management of waste has a fundamental role to play in the larger ESG mix from an environmental point of view, where we are seeing more and more companies focus on this as much as deeper level. So we have a lot of conclusions. The question for millions that I address for all of us to reflect is why ESG values to your business? ESG requirements have recently taken center stage in public policy, and companies have been pressured by legal regulations to comply with new ESG standards and procedures. But as they have been pressured to new levels of compliance and regulatory requirements, they also be driving change as they realize that ESG concerns are not good deal practices, but also generate good value for the business. Companies of the 21st century are focused on changes that allow them to satisfy the needs of their customers and have a goal that demonstrates the concern for all stakeholders and not just their shareholders. So the excellent service will be irrelevant in the future if they are not accompanied by a sincere concern from companies with the ESG policies and the transparency for their corporate governance principles. When deciding and making whether your business is worth investing in, investors and stakeholders expect your company to follow good ESG practices to mitigate investment risk. And that's why ESG programs are essential components of a long-lasting and resilient business that increases your company's market value and reliability. The question is no longer why, but when will a company deliver on ESG commitment? What do we need to break the wall? We need to talk about the transition from the traditional areas of law to acting in ESG. So in the academic beginning, everyone who studies law for love is later faced with a reality that was not expecting. However, ESG, I truly believe there is a way for us to impact the world. Please notice these are not motivational intentions. The idea is to reorganize value chains and underlining principles. We are not talking about activism or the romantic idea of waking up one day and hugging trees around us. We are talking very seriously and committedly. Risk analysis, doing something in the corporate world that needs to be promoted. And their lawyers, in-house lawyers, can take advantage of their background and dynamism skills. In a preventive, focused, and strategic way, the lawyer can analyze the entire framework, understand public policies, and materialize what is relevant in each sector of activity. We must expend our energy to get solid and realistic goals. The biggest risk, companies cannot understand this as an advertising campaign that's so-called greenwashing. For that, they would hire a marketing professional, but they would be easily discovered. Investors and consumers are much more informed more today than, for example, 40 years ago when I was born. On the other hand, our generation doesn't like geographic barriers, and within ESG, in terms of opportunities, the time has come for us to position ourselves, knowing how to choose and not being chosen. Why not network, build bridges, not walls, with other professionals who are dealing with the same issues, as well as invest in specialized training? As we learn about ESG, we can produce and share valid content. Our stakeholders and investors preparing for a time when climate change is so dramatic, they no longer have raw materials for consumers. What about implementing diversity clearly within companies? Well, we are not talking about new things. These are old problems in a domino effect, and now we are waking up to reality. But companies are made of people. How can we make a difference within companies? Be resilient and courage. I think we have a lot of work ahead. So what's hard is getting started, but those who don't start will feel the pain later. And these topics are up to date, relevant, and will be quickly applicable. I can quote this, Annie Gonzalez, that is not speedy, does not stand out from the rest. So ESG, I think, is an ongoing conversation, and I look forward to continuing with you. Please feel free to contact me to the email in the slides. Now, let me take a look to the poll that I asked the audience in the beginning. I think let me see. So, what kind of job do you have in your company? Most of you are in-house lawyers, 66%, board of directors, 5%, and finance analysts, 0%, and others, 35%. Very good, nice. Let me see now the chat. Well, Julian Martinez, thank you for your answer. I will show that in the transmission. I think at this moment, at least in Portugal, I can tell that companies, medium companies or public companies are not prepared yet. and that is a long work ahead. We need to do workshops, we need to study a lot, and to bring those practices internally with lots of patience and resilience, because they think that is a minor question, you know. But we know it isn't. We know that is the question that that is in Europe, European Union agenda, and 2024 is right coming up.